Monday quiz. So boys, y'all don't talk while I'm talking, especially for our quiz review. All right. We'll have some where you identify the pattern. It could be either like numbers 1 or 2. One of those will be on there, okay? So on number 1, this one was actually, I think, on your last worksheet. So it starts out with how many sides? 6? How many sides?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. Thank you. Can't count. So it starts out with 7. Then what does it go down to? 6, 5, 4.
3.
What one has 3 sides?
That triangle.
The triangle. Okay. So you're going to find the pattern. Are we okay with that one?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm thinking of that Ned thing. I got it stuck in my head.
Is this
I-
Never occurred.
Okay, but it's still got 3 sides. I think it's going to be more like number 2 that's on your quiz. Okay?
Are you
So-
videoing?
I am videoing, yes. On number 2, you're trying to see how you get to the next number. So we go from negative 96 to negative 48 to negative 24 to negative 12. What do you think is going on?
Half.
You think, okay, taking a half, or what's another way to think of half? Divide by 2. So then we will go and check ourselves and make sure. So what is negative 96 divided by 2? It is negative 48. Divided by 2, it is negative 24. Divided by 2, is that what's working here? Yes. So if I divide that by 2, what's my answer? Negative 6. It wanted the next number. So the first question on your quiz is like that one. Yeah. How do we feel on that? We're good. Okay. This one is 20. The review is 20, and then the quiz is 10. Okay, so we're just kind of doing a review, and then we'll finish the worksheet from last week. Okay, so yesterday you borrowed $40 from your brother. So you already owe him how much? $40. You're going to owe him $40. Every day that you don't pay him back, you owe 50 cents more each day. Anytime it's each day, you put that with a variable, right? So we already owe him $40, and we're going to owe him 50 cents each day. Isn't that how you write 50 cents? Yes. Okay. So they want to know how much you will owe him on what day? 17. You could have made a table as well. I think this is actually easier than a table on this one. Is everybody okay with this? So how much will you owe him on day 17? So what do I plug in for D? 17. So I would just, in my calculator, I'll just do that. I would type in 40 plus 0.50 times 17. And it's $48.50. Does that make sense? Yeah? And you could have made a table. There's probably several different ways you could have figured this out. Okay? Are we good with that? Yeah? All right. So far, so good. Moving on to number 4. Why does that look? Okay, that's what it looks like. All right, number 4. This one says, gotta move it down. You're trying to set up an aquarium to determine the size tank that you can buy. So there's a rule that relates to the fish and the tank. So let's just look right here. If I have 0 fish, what does my tank already need? So my starting point is up at 4. Okay, so let's just make a table. At 0, it's at 4. What about at 1? If I go over 1, it looks like it's up here at 5. At 2, it's at 6. What am I adding to each one? Well, from 0 to 4. 1 to 5. 2 to 6. 4. So whatever my the size of all the fish is, what am I going to add to it? Add 4. So let's see. That is 3 times 2. That is 5 of those times 1. And then a 3-inch. So what is all that going to equal? 6 plus 5 plus 3. What'd you say that is? 14. What do I do with that 14? You add 4. So it has to be how many gallons? 18. And that's an answer on that. I don't think that one's on there either. I don't think the last 2 I did. Those are just reviews. But they'll probably be on your test next week. Okay. Let's move to the next one that could possibly be on this. I think this one's on there. Okay. It says, number 5, 40 fewer than a number T. Which one of those looks like you have 40 fewer than T? D. You take away 40 from T. Does everybody understand that? Yes? Okay. Like if I was at 100, what's 40 fewer than 100? 60. So you took 100 minus 40. Okay. Anyway, that's if you want to plug numbers in and think of it. All right. Then there is one like that. There is one like number 6 on there. Okay. I think you only missed one that's definitely on there. And I recorded, or I can show you later. Okay. Number 6, is that what I said I'm on? Yeah. So you start with $15 and you save $8 a week. How do you write that out looking like algebra? You start with what? 15, and we are adding how much? Each week. Anytime you see the word each, per, you multiply it. 15 plus $8. How do we feel on that one? And that is C. Okay? Let me look and see. I don't.
What'd you say the answer was for 5?
Number 5 is D. I don't think or is that one like it? No, there is an evaluate one. I think it's more like one on the back. I am going to go over this one though. Okay, I'm still going to go over this one. I think I will skip the next one. Maybe we'll see. What do you do with number 8? With number H. What do you do with H? Change it and plug it into what? -2. So in my problem, that's what this is saying right here. Instead of writing H, we want to plug in -2. So that's what I will write. I'm going to write 3 times -2 minus 6 over 1 plus -2. Is everybody okay with that? And what is 3 times -2? -6. So I'm going to change that. Okay? Now in parentheses, what is -6 minus 6? Careful. It's -12. It doesn't cancel out. -6 minus 6 is -12. So let me write that down. What is 1 plus -2? -1. Now, what is 4 times -12?
Hey, would anybody like yo-yo or anybody? So the seniors were all into it. Well, why did you say yes? Anybody else? And something you might not have thought about was that's his actual job. And some of the seniors were talking to him, and he said, yeah, they need more. They're needing people all the time. And so he said he's one of the trainers, and so he trains people how to do the tricks and stuff. And he explained to the seniors, he was showing them how he did some of the tricks and things that he did. And then he's responsible for Texas. So they're in all 50 states, but he's located in Texas, and then he goes to the states around Texas. But he was in Mississippi all last week. And then they all travel internationally during the summer. So they get to travel around the world. So he was in New Zealand and Australia and some other places I can't remember, but during the summer months. So interesting. So,
I don't
future
think
job.
I'm smart enough for that.
I don't like to travel enough to do.
I like them. I like them bad.
Okay, let's keep going. We got -1 in the denominator. What is 4 times -12? So I have -48 divided by -1. What is that? 48. So just take it piece by piece, go through. Y'all, and sometimes, especially now that you're getting into math that's a little more difficult, sometimes I work out my problems, or when I was in school, and I would finish, if I finished my quiz or my test really fast, I would go back through it and retake it without even looking at what my answers were. I was determined all right though. But I would go back through and I would rework them, and if I got the same answer and didn't look at my previous work, if I got the same answer, then I was pretty sure I got it right. If I got a different answer, then I had to look through and see where I messed up. Anyway, some of you probably wouldn't want to do that, but if you're one that determined to make 100 on things. That's how I always check myself. But if you look at your previous work, you can talk yourself into that being right. Like, because I'll do that sometimes with your work. I'll look at yours and I'm like, I don't understand where they messed up. So I have to kind of do it to the side and then I can see where you messed up. Anyway, just a little bit of information. If you're not a perfectionist, then that's fine. Okay, now let's move along. I'm not going to do number 8 just because of time. I want y'all to get y'all's other paper out in a second. Number 9, though, there's one. Oh, you can't even see them. There's one like number 9 on there. Okay, so you could plug and play. What does that mean? Just plug in the answers and see what works, right? But I'm actually going to work it out. So x plus 5 equals 10. How do I get x by itself? Subtract 5. So x equals, what's 10 minus 5? 5. That's your answer. And if I put 5 plus 5. That one should have been mental math. Okay, but if not, solve it out or plug in the answers. How do we feel about that?
Great.
Good. So far, so good. All right. Then we have number 10. We definitely need to go over. There's one kind of like this on the back, I think. Maybe not. I don't think that I took the difficult ones, but I still want to go over them, okay? Because y'all need practice, I'm afraid. All right. Number 10 on this paper. If you need a printout of extra help for tonight, I can print one like your quiz with all the answers on it and you can take it home. Come see me after 5th hour, okay? Because I've got class next hour, but then after that, I'll be here all day. So this one says negative 5y minus 9 equals negative and then y minus 1. Again, this one's not on there, but they just want us to solve for y, okay? So when I see parentheses, I know that I have to distribute whatever's out there, which is a negative sign. So I'll get negative 5y minus 9 equals, and distribute. That becomes a what? Negative y. And what happens when I have a negative times a negative? It becomes a positive one. Is everybody okay so far? Just changed everything in parentheses. Now, y's are on both sides. Whenever you move to the other side, that's when you do the opposite. I move the smaller one, which is, in this case, it's negative 5, right? You could move either one. How do I move negative 5y? Do I add or subtract it?
Yeah.
You add. You do the opposite. So we're going to add 5y over here. Negative 9 equals 4y plus 1. Now, solving for y. What two numbers are over there with it? 1 and 4. So how do I move the 1? You're moving it to the other side, so you do the opposite. We subtract 1. What's negative 9 minus 1? Negative 10 equals 4y. Then what do? Divide by 4. Okay? So I would, in my calculator, I'm just going to do, what was it? Negative 10 divided by 4. Negative 10 divided by 4. So it may give you negative 2.5, or math inner, you may get negative 5 halves. That's the same thing. Are we okay with that one? Yeah? All right. Number 11, this one is on there. Y'all, if I'm going too fast or need to re-explain, say something, okay? So number 11, we have a triangle. Y'all, we did this so much last year. It's a ratio. The sides of the triangle are like 3, 4, 5. Do y'all remember doing these? Yes, kind of maybe. So on this one, if I had a triangle, I'm not saying that the sides are 3, 4, 5. I'm saying that the sides are ratios. That means you have to put a variable in them. That's where that comes in. So you're just going to add those sides up because a perimeter, what do you do with a perimeter? You add them up. But it's not 3 plus 4 plus 5. It's 3x plus 4x plus 5x equals 90. What is 3 plus 4 plus 5? 12x equals 90. Then what do? What is 90 divided by 12? What'd you get?
7.5.
Thank you. I'm just trusting. She says 7.5. Okay. And then it says, what's the length of each side? How many sides are there that I'm going to have to find? 3. Make sure you read your question so you'll know what you're looking for. I know x is 7.5. That is not an answer. How do I find this one? That side. 3 times 7.5, which is what?
22.5.
Okay. And then I would do what? 4 times 7.5,
30.
30. And then 5 times 7.5.
37.5.
Is that the same one that was on that paper? Okay, and y'all still have your paper. So if you don't have that written down, you are quickly writing that down on your paper as fast as you possibly can. What number was that on your paper?
Number 3 on the second.
3 on the short answer. I'll give y'all a minute. So if you watch this video later, we'll have an interruption by Dr. Brown, and we'll have a time for y'all to write down stuff. You won't watch it? Is that what you said?
I'm gonna watch it like 8 times.
On my geometry video, I got like over 500 views.
Wow.
I know. I'm famous.
I can guarantee you one of them was not me.
I think Remington was trying to do thumbs down, and maybe that's how I got so many views. Something happened. It was a glitch. I don't know. And you reported it. Y'all quit reporting my video. Yeah, all the rest of them have anywhere from 0 to like 4 views. I don't know. Some have 8. Some have 8.
Profanity.
You reported. You said profanity in my video. They check it. They go through and probably like check it. They can run it through a little thing.
I'd be so disappointed if you got like banned from YouTube.
Yo, I just make a new account. I've got 5 emails. I'll just make a new account.
Dang, that's 5 times we got a banner.
I've got my school email, my personal email, an email for each of my kids before they had emails. Because if they needed things, I didn't want all that stuff coming to my email.
How do you remember all the passwords?
I write them down. I use the same passwords too a lot. Until they make you redo it.
We gotta find out.
That makes me mad.
No, but then they make you...
And it's usually Apple, like they'll want you to make a new password and then say you can't make a new password because it's the same as the old.
I know. It's annoying.
See, Mama has password, and it's the words, and then he just changes the number on the end to whatever it means, is what it makes it change it. So like it's 9 West 28, so now it's 9 West 40, something like that.
Is anybody still writing? Or are we good? Everybody's... Huh?
It's a little chilly.
It's chilly?
It's not chilly.
I'll just turn it to where the fan...
You need to move, it's freezing.
Oh, crud. I'm pressing the wrong button. Oh, well. That's fine. Crud. I said crud. Y'all report me for profanity for saying crud. Okay, I'm about to erase and move on. Number 12. Crud.
This guy's not one.
You can go back and watch the video tonight, Ben. After football practice, you can go watch the video. Okay.
Football price,
We're still alive, yeah.
Okay. You're going to write if it's always, sometimes, or never true. I'm not sure if this one's on there or not, but we're going over it anyway. You are going to solve for X, and I need everybody paying attention because this is where a lot of you mess up. A lot of you, when y'all see this problem, you can combine the 14 and the 7. For some reason, y'all want to come over here and add 7 to 14. Y'all, if you do not cross that equal sign, then you don't do the opposite. Does everybody understand that? That is like common among the younger in Algebra 1 and y'all. Y'all are still doing that. Don't do the opposite unless you're crossing that equal sign, okay? So right here, what's 14 minus 7? 7. You're just going to do exactly what it says. So over here, I have 7 plus 3x. Is everybody okay with where I got that? On the other side, what can you combine?
7 minus 4x. Or
7x minus 4x, which is what? 3x. Okay? Now, I know you can probably tell they're the same. I'm gonna keep going just so you can see. I'm gonna move my 3x over. So now, since I'm moving it over, I'm gonna do the opposite. Since it's positive, I would have to subtract. What do you notice happens? They all cancel out, all my x's. So 7 equals 7. Is that sometimes, always, or never true? That's always true.
I have a
7,
question.
yes.
How can something be sometimes true?
I don't know, that's never the answer.
So it's
wondering-
always or never?
Yeah, it
I was
could,
confused.
yeah.
I think it's the answer on ours, just.
It's x equals something.
Okay, this is your answer, is that the same problem?
No,
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's when it's sometimes, that's what I was getting to. This is when it's always true. This is when it's never true, like 2 can never be 4. It's not saying never. Or if it had -1 equals 1. Don't let that confuse you. That can never be true. 1 is negative, 1 is positive. My guess is that it's sometimes true if it's something like this. Say you work out your problem and you get x equals 2. Sometimes x could end up being 2.
See, that's what I was confused.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They mean by it. Sometimes x could be 5 or -100 or whatever. So does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's always, that would be a sometimes, and that's a never. Okay? Everybody's good with that?
Yes.
Keep going.
what number we at?
We're at number yeah, we're about to do 13. Okay?
Watch the video.
Number 13, there is one like this. We're to number 6 on the quiz. So, all right. You
How many
saw
total questions?
on this review there's 20. I may skip some, but there's 10 on the quiz tomorrow. So it shouldn't take half the class. All right, boys, listen. On this one, I'm solving for t. I'll write it a little bit bigger. What's over there with the t?
SR.
Well, that's
Five.
5. Sorry, it's a 5. 5r squared. 5r squared is being multiplied, so I have to move it to the other side. I must divide by 5r squared. Both sides. So what happens? Those cancel out. It does cancel out. Is t by itself? It is. And I get s over 5r squared. How do we feel, huh? What'd you say?
It's pi. Like you drew it like an S almost.
Oh,
Like it ain't got-
all right.
It's boxy. It's curved.
Okay. Well, it's kind of boxy. I don't know. Okay, everybody get that one? There's one like that on there. We're good? Ben, y'all are good? Okay, next one. Number 1 at the bottom. This you'll just have to know. What set of numbers does this belong to? The square root of 34. Put that in your calculator if you need to. It's going to keep going forever. What kind of number is that? Irrational. Boys, do y'all know the difference between rational and irrational in the back?
So do we need to put,
Irrational is it. If you put real, that's fine. But for this one, you would just put irrational.
but we don't need to put the number, just the word?
Yeah, just the word.
Was there word?
Irrational, it keeps going on and on. It doesn't end, it doesn't repeat. Okay?
So it's either be rational or,
Huh?
so it's either rational or irrational?
Yeah. Rational or irrational. Okay, is everybody good with that one? Yes. Keep going. All right, what about this one? I think it's more like the one we just did. Hint, hint, hint. Okay? But number 2 on here, what kind of number is -40? Is that rational or irrational?
Rational.
It's rational, okay? And it's one more thing.
Real number.
It's real, but that's
whole number.
it's not a whole number. It's an integer because it's negative. The one on the quiz is actually more like the irrational one. Okay.
Irrational.
So it's an integer and what?
This one's an integer and rational. Okay. Number 3. There's
The little
I think it's
our way.
more like number 4. Oh, I can't stand that when that happens. Okay. Number 3. I'm going to just write it on paper. Y'all okay with that?
I don't really.
Y'all will be fine. All right. Negative Remington. -2y minus 4 equals Remington. 8 minus y. Okay. Ben, well, you were looking at him when he was talking. Okay, sorry. All right, you get in trouble every time, even for Tanner last week. I apologize, Remington. Okay, y's are on both sides. Okay,
So you have to move.
so you have to move them. When you move to the other side, you do the opposite. So I'll move my negative 2y. How do I move it? We add it.
So you get Y.
Yep, so we get 1y. So over here, negative 4 equals 8, and we get a positive 1y. You can write the 1 if you want to. I don't ever write the understood one. Okay, how do I solve for y now?
You add 8, no, sorry.
You subtract 8. If I added 8, it would go to 16. I need to subtract 8.
I have a question on that, sometimes, like the x equals 2 or something.
Yeah.
Isn't there understood 1 in front of the x? Technically, you just divide.
Wait, what?
There's
You
a
have
one.
x.
Like if x equals 2, that is, you can, yeah, that's 1x equals 2. You could divide by 1, and it's still x equals 2. It's an understood 1 there all the time. It's always 1x. Shh, Remington, I saw that. I was watching this time. Does that make sense? It's always, that's why I don't ever write 1 in front of, if it's just an x, it's an understood 1x is written there.
Okay.
I just don't ever really write the 1 because, like, you're right, you would divide by 1 and it's the same answer. Okay, that one's not on there, but this one is. This one, all they want you to do is combine like terms. You're not doing the opposite. There's not even an equal sign on there, so there's no moving around, Tanner.
Maybe another label.
In a little bit. I actually have the label maker still, so yes. Okay. What is 4c plus 8c? 12c. And what is, read it carefully, negative 4d minus 3d? Negative 7d. There you go. If you wrote this, that is the same thing. That is also the correct answer. Oop, y'all can barely see that. Okay, then we have 2 left. All right, I'll do number 5. You want to compare the numbers, 3/4 and 4/7. Okay, some of you can look at that and probably take a guess on, is it less than, greater than, or equal to? That's what it means, compare. Oh, and it wrote that. Look, it wrote. Okay, so best thing to do is divide it on your calculator. Decimals are so much easier to look at. 0.75. What is 4 divided by 7? 0.57. I knew that was close to 1/2. I knew that was bigger than 1/2. So it's the greater than sign. You have to remember that the alligator eats the bigger number. What?
Can you do one that's not the same numbers for people whose letters go whee?
What?
If you're dyslexic, you can't. You
Yeah, that's for sure gonna mess you up.
Yeah.
What are you
It's
talking?
75 and 57.
That's not gonna see it.
That would mess us.
Oh.
Probably the same number.
Oh, yeah.
I swore they were the same number.
Okay. No, this is just a practice quiz. It's not like that on the test. I mean on the quiz. Okay. Last one, boys. 5A plus 5B. They want us to evaluate it. That means plug these numbers in for those variables. So instead of writing A, what do I write?
Negative 6.
So I'm going to write 5 times negative 6 and 5 times negative 5. You could just type that in your calculator or take it step by step. That's negative 30 plus negative 25. What is that? Negative 55. Okay? That is what your quiz is going to look like tomorrow. Okay? So you'll have the quiz tomorrow. Now for today, we're going to look at that worksheet. Let me see. I think I can stop recording though, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Let me